Good morning, doctor and classmates. We will talk about the urea and creatinine. Okay. Urea. Urea, also known as carbamide, comes from the Greek euro, and is an nitrogenous substance that is produced in the liver from ammonium in the urea cycle. This principal function is the elimination of ammonia from the body. Ammonium is a highly toxic compound. Okay, urea is an osmolar substance that is present in the extracellular fluid, plasma, and interstitial fluid, as well as in the intracellular fluid with an amount of 4 milliosmol for a liter of water. Okay, in the plasma, urea is present with amount of 14 milligram for deciliter. This is a substance in the plasma, and urea is here. Urea is spreaded mainly through urine and feces. However, a very few case is excreted through the sweat and exhalation. And finally, urea, its excretion is not only determined by glomerular filtration, but also by tubular reabsorption, which allows it to play an important role in the production of concentration urine and maintenance of body water. Next one.
Now we have urea excretion. We have to know it's a metabolic waste of amino acids. Urea is filtered by a rate of 46.8 grams per day and reabsorbed at a rate of 23.4 grams per day and is created in the same amount.
Okay, the recirculation of urea from the collecting duct to the loop of Helen and retrograde to the hypermolarity of the renal medulla. A healthy person usually secretes 20 and 50% of the filtered urea loop. The excretion of urea is mainly determined for three factors: the concentration of urea in the plasma, the glomerular filtration rate, and the renal tubular urea reabsorption. In the proximal tube, 40 and 50% of the filtered urea is reabsorption, but its concentration is the tubular fluid increasing because the urea isn't diffusal of water.
The concentration of urea continues to increase as the tubular fluid flows into the thin segments of the lobe of Henle due to the water reabsorption of the lobe of Henle and some urea excretion into the thin descending limbs of the tube of Henle from the medullary interstitium. The passive secretion of urea in the thin limbs of the lobe of Henle is facilitated by the urea transporter, also known as UTA2, as we can see here. The thick ascending limb of the lobe of Henle and distal tube cortical collecting ducts are relatively impermeable to urea. We have to say that some amount of urea is reserved in these tubular segments.
Okay, so during the formation of concentrated urine, we have in a high concentration or high level of LDH. And this will cause that the water reabsorption will increase in the distal tubule and in the collecting cortical duct. And this also increases the high concentration of the tubular fluid. Then, as urea flows into the collecting medullary duct, the high urea concentration and also the urea transport vasodilators those are UTA1 and UTA3, will facilitate the diffusion to the medulla interstitium. And a moderate portion of the urea will diffuse into the thin descending limb of the loop of Henle, the ascent through the ascending limb of the loop of Henle, then to the distal tubule, and then to the collecting cortical and medular ducts.
And this way, urea can recirculation through these terminal parts of the tubular system. And several times before behind its contributed to the fortune urea buoy. This urea recirculation constitutes an additional mechanism for the formation of the perosmolarity of the renal medulla, which is essential for the conservation body fluid when water is scarce.
When there is an excess of water in the body, the urine flow rate usually increases, reducing the concentration of urea in the inner collecting ducts and decreasing the urine diffusion into the medullary interstitium. Additionally, we have to say that the HDA levels decrease, reducing the permeability of inner medullary collecting ducts to water and urea, and we have to say also that more urea is excreted in the urine.
I'm presenting the creatinine. Okay, the creatinine is a non-enzymatic metabolic product of the creatine and the creatine phosphate. And under normal conditions, it is produced at a constant rate from skeletal muscle tissue, about 2% per day of total creatine pool. It is a small molecule according to Dalton and does not circulate bound to plasma proteins. It is freely filtered at the glomerular level. It is not reabsorbed but is secreted by the proximal tubule in variable percentage. It is filtered 1.8 gram day, is not reabsorbed and is secreted entirely. And under normal conditions, extrarenal creatine excretion is minimal. However, as the GFR decreases, its intestinal excretion increases. This is favored by the flora intestine. The relationship between creatinine and GFR is not linear, but it is exponential. Okay, and the factors determined by the GFR are the muscle mass, the protein intake, and the exercise. Between the use of drugs that can block tubular secretions are the cimetidine and the trimethoprim. Okay, and this table is factors that alter the serum creatine values independent of spec glomerular field. The factors and the mechanisms and effects. The muscle mass increment the muscle mass and elevate the serum levels. And the factor protein intake elevates protein diet and increment the serum creatine levels, and the vegetarian diets low the GFR. The factor exercise strenuous exercise can cause rhabdomyolysis, elevate the serum creatine levels. The drugs, the cimetidine and trimethoprim, block the tubular secretion of the creatine and elevate the serum levels. The fibrates increment the creatine production in skeletal muscle and elevate the serum levels. Okay, the normal values of the creatine in the blood in the men's is the 0.7 at the 1.3 milligrams dl. And the women's, the values of the creatine in the blood is the 0.45 and 1.2 milligrams dl, and the infants are the 0.2 and 1 milligrams dl.
Okay, so right now I'm gonna explain the creatinine clearance. This method evaluates the glomerular filtration, and this is the most used because it's not require an intravenous infusion to the patients. And this measures the concentration of creatinine both in the blood and the 24 hours urine. But the bad part is that this is not very accurate because a small amount is secreted into the tubes. And the excreted creatinine is slightly excretes the filter. So we have an error range. The equation to know the creatinine clearance derives to the glomerular filtration, that is equal to the creatinine clearance, that is equal to the urine creatinine multiplied by the volume and the plasma creatinine concentration. And for example, if the glomerular filtration is reduced to the half or 50%, this will filter and excrete only the half of creatinine in the kidneys, and this will produce a pathology that is accumulation in body fluids and increase the plasma concentration. So the filtered creatinine loads should be regulated. This happens when the creatinine excretion will stop. And the balance between the production and excretion of creatinine has another equation, that is the plasma creatinine concentration multiplied by the glomerular filtration and the creatinine in the urine multiplied by the volume. And another example when the plasmatic creatinine should increase twice the usual is when the glomerular filtration is reduced to a quarter or a 40%. That will increase 4 times, and this result, if this result is reduced to a quarter again, this will increase 8 times in a permanently constant speed.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the creatinine as a biomarker. First, as we know, creatinine is a small molecule that binds to plasma proteins. They can't join with them, and it's freely in the glomerular level. Right? Yeah. As we know already, he cannot be absorbed, and it's secreted in the proximal tubule right there, and that's why we can use it as a biomarker, playing with that fact. And the value percentage of the creatinine increase as the increase of the renal failure. Muscular mass, protein intake, exercise, certain medications, and influence. This can influence in the creatinine levels and affect in the glomerular filter rate, giving us some irregularities. Creatinine measure. Okay. In 1886, Max Jay described the reaction of creatinine with picoate acid in an alkaline medium.
generating an adduct of color proportional in amount of creatinine, but the original measurement presented increases of the components in the plasma. That interferences fakes a normal value. That's because the pseudo homogeneous and negative that give us the negative interference and giving low interference by bilirubins. Creatinine measure also to this. Right now we can have more precise tests because we start to use a blank and fix the compensation of pseudo homogenes that let us be more accurate and improve the accuracy of the result.